So I don't have $18 million, but I have studied Viktor Hovland's golf swing a lot. And I've came up with the 5 key things that he does in his swing that nobody talks about. So using the compact club here, I'm gonna walk you through the #1 thing that Viktor Hovland does really good in his swing, and it's actually before he takes the club back. It's his grip. So there's 2 things he does really good in his grip. The first one being how strong his grip is, where the V of the lead hand is pointing at the trail shoulder and the V of the trail hand is pointing at the trail shoulder. This is really important because it allows him to get the proper alignment of his shoulders relative to the target, makes it easier for him to push down on the handle, get his elbows locked together. It just makes his life way easier as a golfer, and it's what we recommend for everybody here at Claw. #2 thing that he does really well is how well he connects his trail palm to his lead thumb knuckle. Getting that proper connection of the trail palm to lead thumb knuckle, it allows him to really pin his trail arm underneath his lead arm and use his trail arm properly in the backswing, which we'll get to in the further steps. From there, once he gets that proper connection, he takes this trail index finger, and we talk about this a lot here at Claw, with the curling of the fingertips. Once he gets that placement of trail palm on the grip, then he curls his fingertips and gets this good hook here with this trail index finger. And that is the engine of his entire golf swing. You could do a drill where you just take your compact club straight out away from you, push your trail palm away from your body, and take your index finger and pull it back up at you. We call this the push-pull drill. And this is really what he uses to run his entire golf swing. So now that we got the proper connection of the trail palm to the lead thumb knuckle, let's talk about how he uses that trail hand properly to start his swing. And he does 2 really good things to start the swing that I want to walk you through. So #1 is, when we talk about how well he connected that trail palm to that lead thumb knuckle, he's going to maintain that consistent pressure and push down and away from his body. What that's doing is that's creating the width of the handle, where the handle is about 4 or 5 inches outside of his trail hip. As he's pushing that trail palm down and away from his body, he's getting that trail index finger to hook back. He kind of gets the face a little bit more hooded than we would typically recommend though. We would typically recommend maybe a little bit more toe up with a stronger grip. He's kind of more this way, where his palm's facing the ground more, opposed to palm facing the sky a little more. But he just does a great job of pushing with that trail palm against that lead thumb knuckle and getting that proper setback with that hook of that trail index finger. So I got a really good visual here for you that you've heard us talk about here a lot at Claw. And I'm actually going to take the compact club, set it to the side, and use our new training aid we're developing, the claw ball. So we're going to imagine that this claw ball here is a beach ball, and then we're standing in water that's just below waist high. We're taking that beach ball and we're just pushing the beach ball under the water. This is something that Viktor Hovland does better than anybody. You can see that beach ball goes down and away. And imagining that you're pushing a beach ball under the water is the best way to visualize how the hands are pushing away from the body to start the swing. And a beach ball doesn't want to go under the water, so there has to be a lot of force being applied to that beach ball to get it under the water. And that's where the trail palm pushing down and away and the trail index finger hooking back come into play. So #3 thing that Viktor Hovland does really well in his swing is how well he transitions from the takeaway to the top of the backswing, and how well he gets back down to the pre-impact position. So let's start with the transition from the takeaway to the top of the backswing. And we're going to keep the claw ball here in our claws and use the little ball hole that we have here to really help illustrate how well he's using his trail hand in the backswing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of turn to you like this. After we've got the proper pushing down and got that beach ball under the water with the blade of the club basically level to the ground. See, that's the good thing about this ball hole. If we got the takeaway incorrect, this ball would fall right out. So it really helps us understand how we're pushing with the palm and getting that set with that trail index finger. Now we're just going to imagine that we're taking this ball and just throwing it up and back over our trail shoulder. Throwing it just like that. So this is the proper kind of, we call this like the waiter position in the golf swing, and we're really getting the proper support with the trail palm underneath that lead thumb knuckle and the proper hook back with that trail index finger. So this ball hole really helps you kind of get that proper sensation of what that trail hand and arm are doing in the backswing. And if you don't have a claw ball, which you don't, but you will soon, you can use a range basket, put some golf balls in it, and just feel the same sensation. Imagine you're filling that range basket with a couple balls and just throwing them up and back over your trail shoulder. It's a really good way for you to understand how to keep pushing with the trail palm and get that trail index finger hooked back, up and back at the trail shoulder, ringing that bell like we've talked about in our puzzle piece video. So now that we got the proper set here at the top of the backswing, we've got trail palm pushing out and away from our body, trail index finger hooked back. Now we're just going to take the ball, put it right back in here, and we're going to start the downswing by feeling like our trail palm is pushing to the ball and down the target line. Imagining this ball is staying in here and really feeling that trail palm driving. What that's doing is that's getting that elbow to tuck right in front of us. Notice how that ball is still staying in there because we've got a great hook with that trail index finger, which is what Viktor Hovland does better than anybody. Now, here we are at the proper delivery position at pre-impact. Notice how the ball is still in there. Now we're just going to imagine that we're just taking that ball and throwing it right down the range. As we accelerate that trail palm and get that trail arm to go from bent to straight, this is what you see with Viktor Hovland. He's got a ton of bend here in the elbow, ton of load here in the trail index finger, but this is the kind of money move. As he's rotating his hips, rotating his shoulders, he's just driving that palm right down the line. You can see there goes the ball. So the reason that that went so straight was because my palm was driving right down the target line. And that's what you see with Viktor Hovland. He's very tilted, but he's just driving that palm right down the line. At impact, his trail arm is bent, trail palm is driving, fingers are bent back of his palm, and then just accelerating right down the line. So another good visual, again, we've talked about the beach ball pushing under the water to start. Then we're getting the beach ball up and back over the trail shoulder. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're taking that beach ball and just dunking it back under the water. Now here we are, we're dunking that beach ball under the water at the perfect pre-impact position. Now in order to get the proper acceleration of your trail palm and trail elbow through the impact zone, I need you to imagine that you're taking that beach ball and just pushing it through the water. There's a ton of resistance that's going to be happening when you're doing that. So you really have to feel that trail palm accelerating. And that's what Viktor Hovland's doing incredibly. As he's getting that proper acceleration, he's also getting the proper stability of that face. When you look at the face here on the claw ball, as he's driving that palm, look how that face is staying perfectly square. He's not rolling it over or rolling it under. So we're dunking that beach ball under the water and then we're driving it through. Really feeling that trail palm accelerating to that proper post-impact position to where trail arm goes from bent to straight as the palm stays ahead of the fingers. Getting that visual of that beach ball going through that water, there's a lot of resistance on that. So you have to push on the side of that beach ball. Can't push on top, can't push out that way too much. Right down the line is the only way that beach ball is just gonna track right through that water down the target line. And that's the proper post-impact position. So now that we got the proper understanding of the proper post-impact position, which is the final piece to number 4, let's talk about number 5. And I'm actually going to use the compact club now for this. Number 5 is how well he's keeping his grip together. So we talked about how he starts with his trail palm connected to his lead thumb knuckle and the proper hook of that trail index finger with his good strong grip. If you look at his post-impact position and into the follow through, you're going to notice that his hands have not changed form at all. So if you took him to his follow through here and then brought him right back down to his address position, nothing has changed. And how well you keep your grip together is giving you the best chance to utilize your hands and arms properly in the swing to get the proper backswing, downswing, and follow through. So make some swings using your compact club, just trying to keep your grip together. You're always gonna feel like you're pushing that beach ball under the water, pushing it back through as you're getting that trail index finger hooked back, keeping it hooked back, and then keeping the palm pushing. So he's always keeping consistent pressure against the handle and really keeping consistent control of that hand to handle to face relationship. That's the most important thing and nobody ever talks about it. Okay, so let's hit a ball doing this. Let's combine all these things that Viktor Hovland does really well. Nice little high fade, just like Viktor Hovland. Really felt like I could just drive that trail palm down that target line. Had a good strong grip, just like Viktor. I don't have $18 million, but I think I got a better understanding of how I can get a little closer.